I'm JJ Voss. I'm from Regina, Saskatchewan, which is located in Western Canada. I grew up on a little farm north of the town of Cupar. My folks were mixed farmers. We worked pretty hard as kids. Times were pretty tough in the 80s. There was a drought and commodity prices were down, so I wouldn't say we were poor, but it wasn't easy, and we worked pretty hard, but it was a great way to grow up. My earliest memories of music would be connected with my mom's side of the family. She comes from a pretty musical background, not really professional musicians, but more just fun party time. She had a couple of cousins that would show up out at the farm. The guitars were out, the fiddles were out, and the whiskey was on the table. And there was sing-alongs going to the wee hours of the morning. At that young age, I was captivated, and it was pretty much then that the hook was set. It would have been around '86. There was an exciting new movement out in country music at the time, and an artist by the name of Steve Earle had an album that came out. The stories and characters in Steve Earle's music really hit home with me, and the album Guitar Town cemented and solidified where I was going to go with my music career and who I am today. Well, good morning. We're at Omni Studios. It's October the 24th. Going into the second album, I wanted to kick things up a notch. The first one, I produced it all myself. On this one, I wanted to go out and play with the big dogs. In order to go nationally and to go international, I needed to include some more people and just, improve on my craft. I started making regular trips down to Nashville. I had the good fortune of being able to sit down with some real seasoned writers who taught me a lot about the craft of writing songs and how to improve things and how to just spill without editing yourself. We recorded at Omni Studio in Nashville, which again, growing up, when I look at my old records, I'd page through and I used to memorize the inside of the jackets on all of these. That's the info that I retained. We recorded the 2-inch tape. It's kind of the old school way of recording, and not a lot of people are doing it anymore. The songs have a real classic sound about them. They have a shimmer and a shine about them. When I saw the tape machine rewinding, it sunk in at that point that this wasn't a dream, that this was real, and that we were doing this. Steve Earle was my hero, and Harry Stinson moved back from Los Angeles and get in on the ground floor of this new renegade artist that was breaking, that was going to stir things up, by the name of Steve Earle. Working with Harry Stinson was pretty much a dream come true. I met him at a festival back in about 2008. Harry was up playing drums and doing backup vocals in Marty Stewart's band, The Fabulous Superlatives. We met briefly then, and then when I started going down to Nashville on writing trips, I ran into him at a music festival there. I asked him if he would consider taking me on as a project and working with me, and he gave me his phone number, and I guess the rest is history. This album in its entirety has turned out to be like living a dream, and working with Harry Stinson is truly a thrill. Turning dirt all day on a worn-out plow, making the bills by the sweat of his brow, but he sleeps real good when he lays down at night. It's a pride thing. Started out, I had the song title and had a line, his hands are dirty but the money's clean. The theme of it is basically about, not necessarily doing something glamorous for a living or wanting to, but at the end of the day just being happy. For somebody like me who's a star chaser, as I get older I realize now that there's a lot of value to not getting in over your head and living life on your own terms. The first verse is basically set kind of about my dad. There isn't anybody that could outwork him of any age, and I have the utmost respect for my parents just with how hard they did work, and they set us up to head out chasing dreams and doing what I'm doing right now, and this song is a tribute to them. Working 14 years down a nickel mine wasn't exactly what he had in mind, but when the shift is done, he leaves it all behind. I'm JJ Voss, and my blood is spilled across all of these songs. It's as honest as I can be, and I do believe that these are songs that anybody can relate to. Peace of mind. Well, this ain't no story about chasing dreams. It ain't about reaching for the big brass ring. It's about working